Wondering how your mindset affects your life? How to bring more energy into your business and life? Millions of people around the world ask these same questions daily. You are in the right place. Learn practices that will help give your life the meaning and success you've been searching for. Welcome to the Charge Podcast, teaching you how to create habits around real goals every day. Practical life advice from those who made it. Here's your host, Gary Wilbers.
You may be asking, why is it so hard to find quality employees for my business? When running a business, you face new challenges every day. Finding the right candidates and keeping them during this time is extremely critical to your success. Every business should be able to find the right candidates with a proven system and retain them by coaching them to success. The Success in Hiring Framework gives you the tools you need to attract, engage, and retain quality team members so that you can move your business to the next level. With my Success in Hiring system for business owners, you will learn how to recruit, hire, and retain the right fit for your unique business. I created this system after all my experience as a business owner with the same struggles as you. Best of all, it is free. Why do I do that? Because my purpose in life is to help business owners reach their full potential. Go to chargepodcast.com and click on the link, Success in Hiring, to start you on the path to hiring the right people for your business. Welcome, Chargers. We're glad to have you back this week for another great podcast. Now, I'm telling you, this is episode 219. And I've decided I'm going to change it up a little bit. We used to do a recap at the end of each quarter. And I decided instead of doing a recap this quarter, I'm going to share with you some challenges that small businesses are facing and give you some ways that you can improve and really make a difference in your business. Because my business owners, it's one of those tough times right now being in business. Because have you heard the phrase the Great Resignation? Well, the Great Resignation is creating a challenge of finding quality and top-notch employees. And I've heard this from the business owners that I coach, as well as the business owners I know, as well as in the industry, what is changing. So really what we need is some answers. And today I'm going to give you, I think, part of what those answers could be. And basically, it's what we call a process of a success in hiring process. I've been talking about it on the mastermind that you can get all the information there, but I thought I would share you what that actually is. So this podcast is a little bit different, but it's not going to be long, but stay tuned because you may pick up some tips that you can use in your business that will make a difference for you. So remember, we're going to title this, Are You Tired of Hearing About the Great Resignation? Well, I kind of am, so I'll be honest with you there. But in a recent Kiplinger letter, they talked about what won't get back to normal economically in 2022. The labor market is and will stay extremely tight, making your life hard as an employer to find new employees. Do you know there's only 65 unemployed workers for every 100 jobs employers are trying to fill? That makes it difficult. And on small businesses, that makes it almost impossible at times. But the thing is, we can live in that pity party for ourselves, or we can figure out ways that we can fix it. So today, I'm going to share with you what I call a success in hiring process. It's about recruiting, interviewing, hiring, onboarding, and coaching. Yes, it's a system. I'll tell you why this system came about. Because I used to be in the wireless business that many of you know. Well, in the wireless business, we had retail reps. We looked back and in 1 year, we had over a 90% turnover rate. This is unbelievable. Yes, turnover is high in retail, but you can't sustain that and provide consistent quality customer service and quality to your clients when you have that type of turnover. And I talked to my HR director and I talked to my leaders and I said, what are we going to do about this? I said, we've got to come up with a better system or a process to bring our people on because somewhere we're missing the boat. So we went to work. And I'll give my leaders a lot of credit. My HR director that created this, that they did a lot of hard work and really determined we were hiring people to fill positions because they were a body. And instead, we changed that and really started working on the competencies and skills we needed. And we started hiring in that process. And that's what I'm going to share with you today is some of that process that we put in place. But we have to start from the beginning. And that beginning is in the first area of recruiting. Do you realize over 84% of organizations are recruiting via social media these days? And 70% of managers said it's a successful method for their companies. So let me share with you how to successfully recruit top talent online and how to hire 50% faster with a proven referral system. So the first thing let's talk about is recruiting online. Now you have to realize when you're attracting new talent, you got to try to think like them. You need to be open to new ways of recruiting. Now we're going to share with you in a download that we have available 27 ways of the best free job postings. But some of them are, you can of course go into the sites, and some of the listings that are the best for the top sites for posting is Indeed, Monster, and Career Builder. But also you have to realize social media is a great way to do it. So when you use social media to recruit talent, don't just put it up on your company pages. Make sure you share it personally, but also ask your people that work with you, are they willing to share it on their LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and let them post it out, because then you get a wider web of people that will be available to you. And it expands your network to include everyone on your team that you currently have. It allows you to reach a larger candidate pool, and it won't cost you any money. Now, that's a good deal. The other way that you need to look at is what we call employee referrals. Do you realize that when you hire a new person from an employee referral program, they produce 25% more profit for their companies than other means that are that you use? Now, is that a benefit to you? Of course it is. So the question I have to ask you, do you have a referral system in place? Do you have a way to garner that referral? If not, you should implement one, because 45% employees sourced from employee referrals stay longer than 4 years. You're going to get better candidates that way. So now we'll share with you some tools that you can use, but there's some documents that you have to be able to receive that. And at the end of this and during this, I will share a PDF download that you can get to get our success in hiring system. And then it's going to allow you to get our 5 video series on each one of these areas. So we have specifically a video talking about referrals that you can get. So do you realize really using social media and referrals can help you get people? So I want you to implement that right away in your business. You can do this now. Post up a picture, put what the job opening is, and post it, and then have your team post it and get going right away. And then get a referral system. Let your team know about it. Share it with everyone. Decide what you're going to do on your referral system and get that in place right away. So as we move from referrals, the next one, item 2, is all about interview. And sometimes we got to be better interviewers, because you select the wrong candidates. If you interview for a position and you really interview them on emotion, instead, we've got to look at it different. Most interviewees allow their emotion to get involved in this process instead of really what their competencies and skills are. And this changed in our business, when in the wireless business, when we changed the competencies and skills, we started getting better quality candidates. So here's some important things to remember when you're interviewing, and keep this in mind in the process. Make sure you respond to candidates right away after they apply to your position. They should not have to wait more than 24 hours to get some templated response back that says, thank you for your resume, or thank you for your inquiry. We are taking applications. We will get back to you, and let them know that what that time frame is. Then the other thing is, make sure you choose the top 5 core competencies and skills that you want that candidate to have for that position. And if you can have that in your job description, which I call a role description, I would do that, because then they know what they are. And then always ask for 3 references. And you say, why references, Gary? They always tell me the people. Yes, they do. But you know what? You can really determine their character, their work ethic through references. And then when you do get ready to interview, instead of bringing them in, how about a phone interview? Reduce the number and then make it convenient for them, because majority of people are working now. So instead of telling them to come in at noon, that's convenient for you, set up your interviews more late afternoon, like 4 to 7 p.m. And you can do multiple interviews and do them on 30-minute segments. And that really helps you out without having to bring them in on the first interview. And then, of course, if you're not using behavior-based questions in the interview process, make sure you use behavior-based interviews. The nice thing is, with the information I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you 60 core competencies and skills, along with 600 behavior-based questions that you can get with this. So keep that in mind. So let's go to step number 3. We've started through interviewing. Now it's about hiring them. So we've all hired the wrong person before because, we needed that warm body in a seat. But really, when we stop hiring on emotion and we really start hiring on skills, we get a better candidate. And according to a Career Builder survey, each bad hire cost the company almost $15,000. So how do you choose that right candidate the first time? Well, we follow these steps. We put in place in our system what we call a hiring filter. And in this, I can't go into all the details, but this hiring filter takes your best candidate and worst candidate, and you find the average of the person that you need. Of course, we do some pre-employment screening and testing before we bring them on board. And when we make an offer to a candidate, we make sure it's a win-win for everyone. But this hiring filter is the key because it really distinguishes the good candidates from the bad. The nice thing is, when you choose the 5 core competencies, you're hiring based on those 5 core competencies. And with our 600 behavior-based questions, you get that in the process there. So take a look at that. Now, the next one, number 4, because I don't want to bore you to death, but I think this is so important because employers need to get better at this. And I want to share with you why onboarding is so important. Now, if I told you, if you had a structured onboarding process, you could improve your year-over-year revenue by 60%, would you listen? Now, did you hear what I said? I said 60% improve your year-over-year revenue. That is the reason you need to really listen to this. This is why your company needs to make new employees feel welcome and valued. Because when they first come into your business, that is the time that if you don't have an onboarding process, they're wondering within the first week if they should start looking for another job. So the thing is, if you have a good onboarding experience, they're 18 times more committed to stay with their employer, and 69% of them stick with the company for at least 3 years. So investing time up front in the onboarding is so valuable. So the question we have to ask is, if I was a new employee and I was walking into your business, what is your onboarding experience like? Is it one of them, oh, I'm glad you're here today, Gary. What do we need to do? Here, why don't you sit down and fill out this paperwork? I'll be back in a couple hours. No, you cannot do that. I'm going to share with you 9 ways to correctly onboard people and make them feel part of the process and create that loyalty that you're wanting. Onboarding statistics reveal that working with committed, engaged employees helps your company succeed, but you start the process by what you do. Your negative, your poor onboarding experience, on the other hand, creates disengagement. So let's think about ways that you can do this. When I was in the wireless industry, I was the owner, the CEO. We had 150 employees. I spent 4 hours with each of those new onboarding class, and I let them know what the expectations were for our business. I explained what I expected in customer service, what I expected them to do to take care of our clients, our customers, and create what I called moments of magic. My friend Shep Hyken shared that method with me. So they knew by me being engaged with them. And then I spend the last 30 minutes or so in the session with answering questions that they have about our company, about what allowed us to grow. That was some of the greatest time ever, because what did I do? I started getting them committed to engage. So let me give you some tips on 9 ways to successfully onboard. Number 1, Have a positive and strong culture. Number 2, prepare coworkers for the new hires, not just the new hires, prepare the people they're going to come in with so they can help mentor and train them. Number 3, set them up for success. Have their office, computer, if you're still getting them any type of information, give them a welcome shirt that says your company name on them. Make them feel welcome right out the gate. Make sure when they come on, it doesn't have to be you, but the HR person or somebody goes around and introduces them to all the employees in the company. And then a great one, I think, is either take them to lunch or schedule a lunch in the break room and let them start to meet the other people that first couple days that they're in the office. And schedule really about creating a training program to set them up for success. What is going to be the training program? Have that broken out, a minimum of a 30-day process that shares with them what they'll be doing day in and day out. Not that they're just, oh, here, you need to watch this video, you need to fill this paperwork out. No, who will they be interacting with and what department as you're moving them through different departments. And then make sure you have some sort of employee onboarding checklist. So this helps you stay more organized. And of course, always assign that mentor that they can ask questions with, that they can always go to as kind of their mentor within their company. And then, of course, I would tell you, follow up and adjust. Follow up and adjust after the first day, the first week, the first 2 weeks, the first 30 days, the 60 days, 90 days. And then, of course, make sure you do the same thing with following up and adjust on number 9, is that there's some feedback that they give you after 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. When you create a good onboarding process, you create an engaged employee. And that is what is so key, because they don't want to just work for you then, they become part of your culture. So make a difference in them. Now, that last area, number 5, we told you we're going to share those 5 areas, is coaching. Do your managers manage or do they lead? You want leaders that are leading. Top performing organizations create leaders that are great coaches. This is important because according to Forbes, only 34% of employees feel engaged at work. By installing a culture of effective coaching, it's basically you're going to create that engagement versus disengagement of your employees. Remember, management's role, leadership's role, really accounts for about 70% of the variance in employee engagement scores. So your leaders are vital to set the tone, to set the coaching culture that you're wanting in your company. So let's discuss a little bit about the benefits of coaching versus bossing. And this was a study by the Gallup organization. With coaching, 50% are more likely to have lower turnover. So you 50% lower turnover just by having a coaching culture. 56% more likely to have higher than average customer loyalty. 38% more likely to have above average productivity. So it increases your productivity, which increases your bottom line. And then 27% are more likely to report higher profitability. Makes sense because their productivity is higher. Plus, they're engaged in the process. Do you see how if you invest in these type of programs, the capacity to build your managers and your leadership team, the difference that it makes into your bottom line of the company? So remember, your coaches are there to build trust, lead by example, be transparent. You want them to get to know their employees, get to know and really take the constructive feedback that employees give you. Celebrate wins that they have, and of course, set clear goals and accountability with them. And when you create that accountability, they want to be part of that team. So the thing is really working with your leaders, your managers, to be great coaches on your team. Now, I want to share with you something that we have available. We have a full success in hiring video series. There's 5 parts to it. We break down each one of those because I talked about recruiting, interviewing, hiring, onboarding, and coaching. And each one of those videos is broken down to give you the opportunity to really take that. But we don't just give you a video, and the videos are less than 8 minutes each. So you get a learning part there, but then we'll give you all these downloaded templates that you can do to put that process in place. Why am I doing this? I get asked this all the time. because it took us a lot of work and a lot of money to put it together. I'm doing it because my purpose is to help small business owners succeed in business and in life. I want to share this with you because I know it will make a difference. I know you'll find value in it. So all you have to do is go to successinhiring.biz and you can receive it. But the easiest place is probably go to chargepodcast.com. We'll have a link there that you go straight to the successinhiring.biz. We also have a PDF download. If you want the shortened version, we'll give you a download that'll talk about some of it. But all the templates and all the videos are in the full series. We'll have them available for you, easy to get at chargepodcast.com. Now, I know it will make a difference for your business because it made a difference in my business. But the key is you have to be willing to do the work. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of work to put the process in, but we've made it so easy because we give you the template and we give you the process. So now all you have to do is get your staff to buy into it and then start making the difference. And then we can change the narrative of, I'm tired of hearing about the Great Resignation. And instead, you can find your quality people that you're looking at. I've put this process in place myself with hiring people, and I now use this process and I get paid to use this process that I use with clients. And they pay me good money to find them high quality candidates because they're willing for me to go through the process with them. So I know it works, but the thing is, you have to decide if that's what you want. So go to chargepodcast.com, download the information. I'll give it to you all free, not asking for anything in return besides letting me know that if you have success in it, I want you to send me an email and say, hey, Gary, I want to thank you very much for that information because it made a difference in my business and in my life because I'm attracting more top quality candidates. Now, this podcast has been a little bit different because I wanted to share a message with you that is important and is really a challenge today for most business owners. And that is in the area of hiring. But you know what? If we want to make that difference in hiring, we've got to make a difference in our business. Now, I've given you a tool to be able to use. So please go check this out. And I think you will find it be very beneficial. Next week, we're going to be back in the next quarter with another great set of guests. I've been doing some of the podcast recordings already, and I'm telling you, we've got a lineup that will really benefit you. So make sure you do this favor. You may know 3 business owners right now that are struggling. Would you do me a favor and share this podcast with them? Because this may be the one that makes the biggest difference to their business today. And today, they're needing that help because I'm hearing it from business clients all over. We're overwhelmed. We can't find the right staff. We've got the business, but we're having a hard time getting that business done because we don't have the staff to be able to make it happen. So make sure you share this podcast. And if this benefits you, if you would go and like and share this podcast, give me a podcast rating. I would truly appreciate that because that's how we keep growing the Charge podcast. Come back next week and I'll have another great guest for you. Make it a great day. Thanks for joining me.
This podcast is ended, but your life doesn't just stop. To continue your inspiring journey, head over to chargepodcast.com and access all the tools and resources mentioned on today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, consider sharing with somebody who may also benefit from the advice provided. That's chargepodcast.com. Until next time, charge in business and life.